Hello and welcome to Bello's Fashionistas Home Edition. I am your host, Fleriser Bello. It is a pleasure to have you join us on this beautiful afternoon. We trust that you and your loved ones are well and staying safe. In today's Bello's FireSide chat conversation, we welcome back to Bello's Fashionistas TV, the founder and CEO of FiBrick, formerly known as FiBrick Financial Services, who today will discuss the issues facing many minority-owned businesses and how you can benefit from the resources currently available to small businesses. Please join me in welcoming Latina Trailblazer and Dominicana Ramona Cedeno. Ramona, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Fleriser. Thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure and happy to be here and looking forward to our conversation today.
It is a pleasure to have you back at Bello Fashionistas TV. Ramona, for those who do not know you, please tell us more about yourself and what it is that you do.
Yes, thank you, Fleriser. Ramona Cedeno. I am a CPA and certified financial planner, and I'm the founder of a company called FiBrick. We provide accounting and fractional CFO services to small and mid-sized firms. We focus primarily on the technology and general services sectors, and we work with a lot of software companies, IT firms. And on the service side, we work with coaches, event planners, interior designers, lawyers, and we focus a lot on helping business owners feel empowered by knowing what their finances are in relationship to their businesses, so that they're always aware of how they're performing, where to go, what's not working, what's working, and using the power of numbers to really manage their business.
Congratulations, Ramona. You were recently highlighted by the Wall Street Journal. She is a Latina Trailblazer, as I mentioned before. She is a mentor for We NYC and has sat in so many panel discussions, ran workshops, and continues to pave the way for these Latinas and Latinos who would like to pursue a career in the accounting industry and also as a CPA. So congratulations, my dear Ramona, for all your accomplishments.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And the same to you. You're a good role model to follow also. So we are in this together.
Ramona, in our previous conversation back in April, we had discussed the different issues facing small businesses after the reopening in New York City and in New York State. A lot of states have reopened, Ramona. And I know that there's a lot of businesses that weren't able to be opened. Some had to close permanently. Some had to pivot. Please share with us some of the issues that you have encountered with the clients.
A lot of the clients have similar issues, similar concerns. Others have very unique situations. The common theme across business owners is how do I manage the little or enough cash that I have now without knowing what the future brings, right? There's always that unknown during these times. And even if someone has enough cash, they are focusing on how to use it appropriately so they don't run out. And there are clients that have not enough cash, and those are the ones that get into that panicky mode, which is very scary as a business owner, because if you panic, then everything else will get impacted. So the main concern around business owners or within business owners is really that how to manage cash, how to get more cash if they don't have enough. And it has been a challenge for a few months, and I expect it's going to be a challenge for a little bit longer, but with the right support and the right planning and the right advice, I think that we can manage through this.
These are issues that are affecting everyone right now, especially small businesses. There's businesses that are leaving New York City. There's an exodus right now, and it's really impacting our economy. Could you tell us how the trickle effect of these issues are really affecting these small businesses, and how can they maintain a cash flow when they really don't have a cash flow, when their services are not up to par to what it was pre-COVID?
Those business owners that can figure out how to pivot, of course, are in a better place. And I know a lot of business owners that have moved and are continuing to provide the same services remotely. Those are primarily service providers. When you talk about someone who owns a storefront, it's a little, of course, it's very challenging. A few business owners that are our clients that have stores have actually shifted to selling online, and of course that takes some time and a lot of time to adapt and to set everything up, because that's not how they were doing business originally. So those clients that depend a lot on the walk-in clients or customers, those are suffering a lot more. I don't work with as many storefront clients as I do on the service side, but even with service providers and some like, for example, event planners, they are interior designers, they are in some cases struggling a little bit because there is either they're losing clients, or they're not set up to provide all the services that they need to set up on site. And I don't even want to imagine what restaurant owners are going through, but because I don't have any clients in that space. But it's, I'm sure that for someone that depends primarily in reopening and having people walk in, the times are even more difficult. Of course, if you can be creative, if you can pivot, if you can start offering services that don't require you to be at a store all the time. I have friends that own restaurants and they are doing more catering. They're doing cooking lessons. They're just figuring out how to get that extra income during this time, so that at least they're not at a point where, okay, I have nothing coming in. So it's going to be about that survival mode without panicking, but being very creative and being resilient and figuring out ways in which to continue to perform some type of service, sell some type of product, so that there is revenue, some sort of revenue coming in. This is something like, imagine that you're going to start a business from scratch, right? Like you lose your job and you like, what do I do now, right? And you just start planning, figuring out, how do I make it work? If there is a market for something that you sell, or a service that you provide, let's figure out how we provide that service and make it available to that market. I know it sounds simple. I'm kind of a positive person. I think we talked about this the last time, right? I feel like there is always a solution, and there is always hope. And as long as we don't panic and we find the right path to get it done and the right support, I think we can pretty much get out of almost anything.
Entrepreneurs are known to pivot all the time and to figure it out and to kind of look out for other options and revenue ways to meet their needs and of course that of the family.
There are also a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are looking for partnerships. They have ideas for new businesses, and when you talk to others about what you're going through and how you want to maybe pivot a bit or think of a different business model or a different business altogether, you might hear other people talk to you about similar ideas, and maybe there are opportunities for starting something new with someone else or partner with someone else within your business or within their business to make something happen bigger. And I believe I spoke about this last time, but I'm a big believer in building community and building partnerships whenever possible, if it makes sense for both sides to actually get through this. We don't have to do it alone. In some cases, it's just hiring or hiring someone to help us, or hiring or using the resources that our organizations provide us. But sometimes it's actually finding a partner to build something together.
Give us some example of how a company could be able to manage properly manage their cash flow once they have received the loan, and how that can help them set up for 2021.
That's a great question, and I always go back to it's about the budget. Like, let's sit down and pretend that you're doing this for your household. You have a couple of $1,000 and you have to survive over the next 2 months with $2,000, pay rent and food and all that, right? You do the same thing for your business. So you get these funds. You have hopefully some from revenues and profits that you have built up. And then if you had the loan, you get the loans that are forgivable or grant. You look at all of this together, and then you start looking at what are essential expenses that I need in order to survive over the next few months, or in order to grow my business. I'm talking about survival, but it's not a positive word, so I'd love to find a replacement. But what do I really need to operate my business over the next few months and the next year? And it's not just using those funds to operate the business, those funds alone. You also have to look at what other income you're going to get over the next few months, right? Hopefully you're bringing in more revenue. But what are essential expenses? What do I need to invest in order to grow, in order to pivot, in order to ensure that my team is on board, that if I am in a lease that I need to renegotiate, that I have funds to renegotiate that lease by using an attorney. So it's looking at the necessities, and then what are the investments that are in additional to your needs for the business. And then that combination of that is we start looking at, do we have enough? Do we have enough to cover those two pieces? And if we don't, what can we cut down or deferred or fund with other cash flows in order to get through the next 6 months to a year. We always like to have a plan for at least a year. 5 years is even better, but that's the last 4 years are probably not realistic. We can predict beyond that with some level of accuracy, but at least 6 months definitely, and then a year is the ideal situation. So going just to summarize, it is about really looking at what we have, looking at what the needs are and what the wish list is, which is for a business, it's not really a wish list. It's kind of like an investment to make something happen. Put it all down on paper on your computer, and it's a simple budget, and make adjustments as we look at those numbers. A lot of business owners now, when I speak to them, are thinking of, I need to pay myself. And if they don't have staff, I need to pay myself because I need to cover my bills. That also needs to be looked at. What is the minimum that you can live with right now? And I do want you to pay yourself, definitely. But if we continue with the same salary that we had last year, and now we have these additional expenses and we take our salaries first, we might be risking not being able to cover something else that is a true necessity for the business, in addition to paying your. So there might be an adjustment also to the amount of money that you take for yourself as a business owner over the next few months.
There has been so many changes with this economy now, and how businesses are operating, and the amount of services that they're providing to their customers, and it has changed drastically. So I know that we are the last ones to pay ourselves, Ramona.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, and I'm sure that some business owners will say, well, I wasn't paying myself enough before. Then we have to fix something, right? And I always have these conversations when things were normal. How is it possible that you're in business and you're not paying yourself? Is it that you're keeping your prices too low? Is it that we're not managing the business correctly, right? So the idea is for you to be able to pay yourself fairly, as if you were employed by someone else. So if that wasn't fixed before, then we have two problems now. But yeah, the goal is to also make sure that you're paying yourself properly. But during COVID, there's going to be some adjustments. I said this, I was willing during COVID, I kept my team, and I wasn't going to lose anyone that was working for me. And I was willing to sacrifice my salary in order to get to keep my team on board. And yes, and luckily, we got the grants and we got the loans, so that would help. But that is just what I mean is I cannot lose my team. I'm always going to be here, but I can't lose my staff. So that they should get paid first during this time, and then I come second, without, of course, putting myself in a situation where I cannot live. But it's just an example that I wanted to share with you.
We will take a quick break, and when we return, Ramona Cedeno will discuss how businesses can prepare as we move along with this pandemic, and the additional resources provided, and how your company can benefit from it. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Ramona, please share with us how businesses can prepare throughout this pandemic as we move along to 2021 and the additional resources provided to these small businesses.
We're getting close to the end of the year. For me, this is the end of the year, especially being being a tax planner, a tax advisor, a CPA. So one of the things that I am telling my clients to focus on right now is really doing a little bit of tax planning for the remaining of the year. That's number one right now. Of course, it's coming from me, so I'm going to say that. We want to look at where we're going to end up in terms of a liability with the IRS and different tax agencies, because that's going to be a burden that's going to come in a few months too, right? So if we have not been paying our taxes during the year, it's going to be shocking if we have been profitable. We're going to end up paying all this money next year, and it's going to be a surprise to some. So meet with your advisors and try to plan and see where you can save, what you can do this year so that you don't end up with a larger bill than you need to. And then I would like everyone to focus on, we talked about putting together a budget for the money that you expect to spend over the next few months. But I'd like for everyone to do that in two stages. One is the remaining of this year. What do I need to do to make it through the next 4 months? And then also the next year. And in all of this, what I hope we can do is incorporate a little bit of a positive outlook. Hopefully, we can all do that, and it's going to depend on each industry, right? We have seasonalities. In my case, tax season will be a good season. Year end might not be. Restaurants might be busy during Thanksgiving and Christmas. So taking all of that into account to put together these projections and plan the rest of the year and next year, it's important. And using some of that information, some of those trends and seasonalities, and put positive outlooks in the industry that you're in will help you. I think it will motivate you to sit down and make this happen, put it on paper, discuss it with your peers. If you're part of a group where you can discuss some of these things there, it might be good to get some insights on the path that you're taking.
You mentioned that there's industries who have been able to stay afloat with cash flow. What are the ways that these industries that can be able to utilize and replenish their cash flow on moving forward?
It's not only about the industry they're in, but it's also about the manager, the owner, the management team behind the company. And this is, I hate to give a little bit of lecture, but this is a learning lesson for everyone, right? So it's the way we have carried our lives and our businesses is now affecting the way we are surviving through this crisis, right? So it's not just, okay, restaurants are doing poorly or accounting firms are doing great. It was also like, how were these companies run before? And if someone was in a lot of debt before, now this is a worse situation for them. Someone who was managing cash flow and managing debt responsibly is being affected a little less now, is panicking less, is having less issues finding these fundings. But in general, what I have noticed, putting aside the management and the owner style, some of the industries that I think are picking up a little faster are architecture firms, accounting firms, legal firms. A lot of coaching practices are doing pretty well. So I think that there are a lot of industries out there that are thriving actually during these times. And I don't have a lot of insights on the retail side, because that's not the field that I focus on. But a lot of these software companies, IT companies are doing very well because there is a higher need now, right, for technology support. So if there is an opportunity to shift into one of those, it would be great. It's not that easy, but I think that most of us can find a way to pivot our businesses. And if you cannot figure it out on your own, talk. Find advice from others that have been there. This is not the first crisis that we go through, right? And others, when I speak to business owners, they say, oh, 15 years ago when this happened, this isn't the second time that I go through this. And they made it through the first one. Something helped them get through it. So let's learn from those business owners that have been there before us.
What additional resources are there? I know that the PPE loan was over recently in August, and there are a lot of grants out there. Can you share with us what those grants, who is giving out these grants, and what are the additional services provided to the small business community?
Every day I get 1 or 2 emails about a new grant that is being, and that's the ones that I'm subscribed to. So there are a lot of organizations, nonprofit, private, government agencies that are putting out grants for small business owners. A lot of these grants are actually focusing on minority-owned businesses, which I think is great. So there's a lot of opportunities there. You have to make it a job, kind of, right? It's like you're looking for a job, you have to apply to as many grants as you can. And I don't want to list any because I don't want to leave anything out, but I know the chambers of commerce are providing some, and a lot of nonprofits. So there are some websites where you can find a list of all the grants. If you Google like grants for small businesses, you will find a long list. Take a day, an hour a day to apply to them and create like a list, a folder with all the documents and the information that you need. So you can just copy and paste and just submit them very quickly. So take advantage of those. I know people that have gotten them. Facebook had one. I mentioned that one because several people that I know have gotten the Facebook grant. I don't know if it's passed, but they are out there and they are accepting the application and they are responding and people are getting them. These monies are actually being distributed. And the other place where you can find support is nonprofits and government agencies that are providing support to small business owners. If you reach out to them and ask for directions on how to get funding or how to apply for grants, they will give you help. They will give you assistance. For example, the SBDC centers, small business development centers, are very helpful nonprofits that you have in Manhattan and the Bronx and all over the U.S. I'm assuming will help you with that. But there is help. We just have to go ask and look and do a little bit of homework, and we might get some responses.
Is there anything that you, by helping your clients, that you think that is going to be something of concern for 2021 with the PPE loan and any of these grants?
There are a lot of rumors out there about the application process, the application for forgiveness. We don't know what the forgiveness ratio is going to be, right? We're hoping that 100% of the loans get forgiven, but there is not a lot of information out there yet, and a lot of the banks are not accepting the applications yet. Just there is not a formal process to submit it. So I think the unknown of what's going to happen with that is something that everyone is wondering, right, about. So besides that, there is not much that I can say about the outlook of 2021, except that I am very hopeful that things are going to shift and it's going to be a great year. I really hope for that. To all the business owners out there, I mean, we have to stay as calm as we can and not lose our sanity, because if we do, then there is no business and there is no us, right? So we have to try to keep the spirits up and just keep working hard, just double the effort that we were putting in before COVID. We just have to continue because this is who we are, right? As business owners, as entrepreneurs, it's in us to fight and to come out of situations winning. And I'm hoping that that's the same for a lot of you, all of you out there.
What's next for FiBrick?
Oh my gosh, I have so many plans. So one of the things we're doing is focusing on our processes and hiring and enhancing our customer experience and our staff experience. So there is a lot of focus right now on looking at how we're doing things, how we can do them better, and automation. I'm a huge fan of technology, so I'm automating a lot of our processes and having a great time with that with the team. And next year is my year is looking good because I want it to look good. So I'm looking forward to 2021, and yes, hopefully the same for everyone.
For more information on FiBrick, where can you be contacted?
Thank you. So my information is all over social media, but rcedeno@fibrick.com is my email. You can send me messages on Instagram at FiBrick Finance. Ramona Cedeno on LinkedIn, very active on LinkedIn, answer all the messages. Facebook, Ramona Cedeno. I think I am so active there that I the minute you search up my name, I'll probably come up first. But yes, anywhere, just find me and I'll respond to your messages.
That is the attitude, my dear. Only staying hopeful and pushing forward. Thank you so much again. I want to thank you and I wish you the best, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that, and I wish you all the best, Fleriser.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to follow us on social media at Bellas Fashionistas TV and our media partner at BronxNet TV. To watch more of our programming, please visit our websites at bellasfashionistas.com and our media partner at bronxnet.org. Please be safe. Have a great day.